I'm spending the day in Binghamton, New York, visiting 3 allegedly haunted mansions that are all within about a 5-minute drive from each other. They're stops on the Haunted History Trail of New York State, and you can check out the video description to learn more about these and other haunted locations in New York. Our first stop is the Roberson Mansion, built in the Italian Renaissance Revival style at the beginning of the 20th century. This house was owned by Alonzo Roberson Jr., who made his wealth in lumber. His wife, Margaret Hayes Roberson, was a school teacher in Binghamton. As a stipulation in Mr. Roberson's will, upon his death and after its use by his widow, this house was to be donated to the community for the purpose of education. Today, it's the Roberson Museum and Science Center. And if you think the outside is gorgeous, take a look inside. This is something you'll notice in all 3 houses we visit today. They are all just so beautiful. I did not expect to see a coffin in the middle of the room. I'm not gonna lie, it's slightly eerie in here. It's very quiet. There's a slight nip in the air, the lights are kind of dim. Definitely has a feeling. It doesn't hurt that we're the only ones here right now. Over the many years of its being open to the public, quite a number of ghostly stories have come out of this place. One report is that of seeing a woman in a maid's uniform turning at the top of the stairs. Many believe that the spirit of Mr. Roberson himself still wanders this house. Stories exist of workers seeing dark figures and ghostly visions, some of which allegedly resembling Mr. Roberson. One time, a group of workers staying late in this room heard quite clearly the sound of a man clearing his throat, as if to tell them it's time to leave. Once, a worker stepped into this elevator and had the distinct feeling that there was a presence inside, like she had backed into an unseen ghost. One very interesting story involves a young girl who was visiting the mansion with her family. She kept giggling and saying that a man was making faces at her playfully. No one else could see this man. Once in this room, the girl saw this photo and pointed right to Mr. Roberson and said that that was the man she saw making faces at her. So, what do you think of this place? Let's head to our second location. Next up, we have the Historic Bundy House. The house was built in 1892 in the Queen Anne Victorian style. It was built for Harlow and Julia Bundy and their children. Harlow Bundy and his brother Willard created the Bundy Manufacturing Company for Willard's invention, a time recording device that allowed workers to record their hours by punching in and out. Their company was a major success, eventually, after a few iterations, becoming part of a little company called IBM. Inside the house, it really looks like one day the family just up and left, leaving everything behind as is. The furniture and items aren't original to the Bundy family, but it all really immerses you in this homey atmosphere from that time period. This is the type of historic home with all of these furnishings and decorations. It makes you want to just stay here for hours and explore every corner, every nook and cranny. This home is a popular location for ghost hunters. Although the Bundys did not die in this house, they moved out in 1906, many believe that Julia's spirit still lingers here, likely because it meant so much to her. She paid for the land and construction of the home, and 2 of her children were born and raised here. Ghost hunters who have investigated here have had strange electronic readings, a shaking of the camera anytime the name Julia was mentioned, and a spectrometer going off wildly. Another entity believed to reside in this house is the ghost of Edwin Hopton, the house's 3rd owner who purchased it in 1912. He actually did die in this house in 1931. People have heard the sound of footsteps. One even saw a figure rushing up the stairs. One person walking outside after hours looked up into the window and saw a man with a mustache, glasses, and a tall hat. It looked just like Edwin Hopton. What do you guys think? Let's head to our last location. Finally, we are at our last stop. It is the Phelps Mansion Museum. We're gonna go explore, and then tonight, we're going to sit in on a real paranormal investigation. This beautiful mansion was built in Second Empire style in 1870. It was built for Sherman D. Phelps, who was a prominent businessman and banker. Oh my God, I love this. Stories of hauntings here involve items and doors moving on their own, an unwound clock chiming randomly, the sounds of footsteps, and even some full apparitions. These rooms are absolutely gorgeous. The wallpaper is incredible. It feels very trapped in another time. Being the only people walking through right now, it sort of lends itself to feeling a little bit uneasy. This whole place feels a little bit like a maze, like I want to be locked in here at night and just explore in the darkness. And that's pretty much exactly what we're about to do. This is Empirical Paranormal, a local team of paranormal investigators who have held investigations everywhere from homes to businesses to museums. They've even investigated Phelps Mansion before. And what sorts of things have you experienced, or have you heard other people have experienced?
We've been touched, we felt cold spots, we've had our equipment go off, we saw a shadow figure.
The first device used was something called a spirit box, which rapidly flips through radio frequencies to pick up on alleged spirits trying to communicate. We were in this room for about 10 minutes, so I've edited it down to just the highlights.
Hello? You barely hear it, it's like a little hello. Can you give us his name? Hi. That was a woman's voice. Can you please talk to us? I heard Richard.
Yeah.
We heard that last time too, Richard. Can you say hello again to everybody?
Hi, friends.
Hi, friends.
Yeah.
Hi, friends.
Hi. Hi. Yes. Do you like that we're all here talking to you? Can you give us a name? Richard. Yeah. We have to find out who Richard is.
The full investigation took 1 hour, and honestly, not much else really happened.
I want you to finish this, okay? Are you ready?
In the bedroom, they set up a cool laser grid meant to show if any figures walk by or interfere with the lights in any way. I personally did not notice anything unusual.
Can you walk over by the door where the pretty lights are? Oh, what was that?
I'm back in the car now after a full day of exploring Binghamton's historic houses, learning so much fascinating history. The investigation was interesting. I don't know if I was particularly convinced by anything that I saw tonight, but it was interesting to see what ghost hunters use, the technology that they have, the high-tech gadgets. One slightly unusual thing that happened was that during the investigation, our camera battery I looked at it, it was about 46%, I think it was, and then the next time I looked, like 5 minutes later, it was at 2%, which is extremely strange. That's never happened before. Also, they were using a laser grid, and after only a few minutes of using it, it died, and they said they had just put new batteries in that, so maybe there is something about batteries draining, but that can probably be explained some other way, I'm sure. But apart from that, it was just fun to participate. I always enjoy things like that, ghost tours, paranormal investigations, that sort of thing. I was particularly grateful to be able to walk around at the Phelps Mansion after hours. It was so beautiful, particularly spooky. I hope you guys enjoyed learning about these places with me. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe if you haven't already. Check out the video description to learn more about the Haunted History Trail of New York State, and I will see you next time.